broadcast is now starting.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy end of February. Happy Valentine's Day, 2 weeks late. And welcome to the next episode of the PixelMill webinar series and today's offering of Microsoft Search 101, smarter, better, faster, stronger. Guys, we're so happy to have you guys here. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, my name is Michael Wells. I'm the account manager and partnerships and community manager here at PixelMill, and I will be your host for today's session. A couple quick things, guys. If you're looking to engage us maybe a little bit more on social media or anywhere else, check us out on Twitter, on Instagram, at PixelMill Team. If you're curious about any of our previous sessions, go ahead and find us on YouTube. Look up PixelMill. There's all our previous sessions and some other fun stuff we've been doing. Check that stuff out. A little bit of extra webinar business as well. If you have any questions, there should be a questions tab. Throw those up there. I will be following along the entire time, and I will get those questions in as best as possible. Or we will make sure we handle questions at the very end. There will be a couple of things that will pop up throughout the webinar. Don't be scared. It's going to be some fun for you guys to interact with as well. But enough about me, enough about this stuff. Let's get to our session today, guys. This is a big one. This is one we're really excited about, and I'm really excited to present to you guys. Let me introduce you to our speaker for today. He is a Microsoft Regional Director and Microsoft MVP, and he is president and co-founder of PixelMill, Eric Overfield. Take it away, boss.
All right. Am I coming in all good and clear?
Yes, you are.
Excellent. Want to make sure the sound's coming through. Excellent. Yeah, thank you all for joining us. Okay, so Microsoft Search. This has been a really big topic from a lot of you, from a lot of our clients. We want to know about this new search experience that Microsoft has been promising for a couple of years, has been rolling out. It should totally be available for you in your M365 tenants. But like, what is it? How do we use it? What's the premise behind it? Is it just SharePoint search? How do I use it? How do I configure it? How am I going to leverage it within my organization so that my my team can find what it is they're looking for? I wanted to dig into that, and so we put together this webinar for you all, and I think it's really good and clean. The slides are going to be pretty simple, which is super cool because I want to spend most of my time in demos. We've got two big demos that I really want to show you, which is how are end users going to be interacting with this? How are your users basically going to be running searches here? And what are some of the caveats, at least that we've learned on our side? And then I want to look at on the administrative side. How do you set it up? What are you going to need to do? What kind of access do you need? How can you make search better for you? As much as I would love to think that Microsoft or anybody actually could create like a true Google, shall we say, search engine, it just doesn't exist without the administration side. The amount of people that are behind Google is insane to make that be able to produce the search results it does that are truly like tailored to you. The same thing is true with Microsoft, that the Microsoft search is powerful. It is definitely can do a lot of cool things, but it takes a lot of assistance from the administrator or from search editors to help achieve some good value there. So yeah, with that, I think we're gonna have, I hope, quite a lot of fun. All right, quickly, who I am. For those of you I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Eric Overfield. I am president, co-founder of PixelMill. I'm also a Microsoft Regional Director. I'm a Microsoft MVP in the Office Apps and Services space. I'm also on the Microsoft 365 PMP team. That's the PMP community driven effort on a lot of all kinds of stuff. M365 primarily it was around the SharePoint space, and then it's since expanded. I love technology, which is why every time I do these webinars, I'm like, I'm so excited about the topic. Same thing here. I'm actually really excited about this topic. Yeah, it's search, good or bad. But I'm a technologist. The thing is, I like to see technology. I like to see it ideally work. I like to see it help you all achieve the needs that you're looking for within your organization. So you can always find me at Eric Overfield, ericoverfield.com, LinkedIn/in/Eric Overfield. If you can remember my name, pretty easy to find me. If you'd like to learn more about PixelMill, we are definitely interested in discussing this topic and other topics around the digital workspace, in particular what Microsoft is now calling the EXP, or the Employee Experience Platform, which I feel strongly, we've been promoting for a while now. It's nice to see kind of some new verbiage from Microsoft around that, some new marketing material. But yeah, this is what we've been working on for our clients for many years now, is focusing on how to create a really good, engaging employee experience in the digital workspace through Microsoft 365 tools. The whole point of that being to help make our employees, our coworkers, more efficient within the digital world, so that they can actually get their job done. So please, you can always get a hold of us over at pixelmill.com, or all of our webinars are always on YouTube as well. And yeah, okay. So what this comes down to, why this is important, and our attendee list on this particular webinar, it kind of proves it as well. This is already looking to be one of our more popular webinars. We're super excited, is that search matters. So there's this study that was done by IDC a while back, and what they did was that they basically kind of looked at how often people are searching within a workspace. And what they're finding is that employees, and I think you could definitely agree with this, they're encountering these new challenges every day, and they need to find the content and information to be able to get their job done. And what this comes down to is that they're spending over 20% of their work week looking for information. And to me, like, that's true. That's not just like going to Microsoft 365 and doing a search, but that's just generally searching for information to be able to do our job. And that's just, sad. That's not good. If they're struggling to be able to find what they're looking for. We're always going to be looking for information. I get that, but what can we do to make it easier and more predictive so that they can find the information they're looking for? And definitely think consider within organizations where you're onboarding new people and you need them to be able to find things that they may not have known what that is. I've heard this thing. What is AAD? I don't know what AAD is. Never heard of it before. I'd like my search experience to be able to tell me the nomenclature of what that is. I want to find a building within one of our facilities. How do I do that? What's the address again of our Sacramento office? I don't remember. Our search experience should be able to find that quickly and easily. And Microsoft 365 already provides a lot of that value. So that's really good and what we're looking to do. So why are we here? Like, what am I hoping that you get out of this whole discussion we're going to have here over the next few minutes? Basically, what I want you to walk away with is feeling much more comfortable around what Microsoft 365 or Microsoft Search has to offer, how it can be used by your users, and maybe some additional training you may want to provide to them. And then, to me, more importantly, it's the setup and the configuration. How are you going to work with your Microsoft 365 tenant administrators to get the proper access and accounts necessary to be able to administer search and to be able to edit search? And what's very fortunate around search is that Microsoft Search, that there are 2 levels of access available that are completely separate than a tenant admin, where you can provide the ability for people to just be able to edit search, where they can provide more configuration settings but not configure the whole search experience. Really what I'm trying to do here is help reduce your end users' frustrations and the time that they waste, but also your frustrations and the time that you're wasting as well. I'm looking to give you that broader overview of what Microsoft 365 or Microsoft Search has to offer to your digital workspace. I really want you to walk away knowing the areas that you configure, the ways that you're able to configure search, and how to optimize it for your organization. Okay, so what I thought we would do now, I've really been enjoying this. We've been adding these polls to this, and Michael, I hope you've got this queued up. But we have a poll happening, so I think, Michael, you need to take over.
Yeah, let me get that going. There it is. Launch poll. All right, guys, so quick question for you. Where do you search first when you're looking for something? A couple options here: Microsoft Teams, Bing, SharePoint, Outlook, OneDrive. Pick the one place you start, the place where you start when you want to search for something. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds, probably less than that, but give you a little bit of time to answer that question.
Yeah, 60% of you voted. That's excellent. Just looking for a few more. Yeah. That's interesting. Oh, there's our first Outlook. All right.
Hey, there you go.
We'll share the results very quickly with you shortly.
All right, I'll give you guys about 10 more seconds to put in your answer. Appreciate everyone who's thrown your answers up there. The answers may shock you, but also they may not. All right, looks like we're getting the last couple stragglers in there. 3, 2, 1, and closing that poll.
Excellent.
And let's go ahead and share it. You want to see those results?
Yeah, you can share them, right?
I can. There you go. 47% leading the way with SharePoint. All right. And followed up with Bing at 21%, Microsoft Teams at 16%, Outlook at 11%, and OneDrive at 5%. So
that makes sense.
Obviously there is some leaders, but also a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hope to remove some of that. I hope to help you shift some of your thinking to where you might be searching, and then you can then help your fellow coworkers ideally leverage Microsoft 365 or Microsoft Search so that you can get that next step. So excellent, thank you. Yeah, good. Yeah, SharePoint to me makes sense. The backbone of our intranet still is SharePoint, and so Microsoft 365 within searching, you're often searching for content. So makes total sense to me. All right, so the actual session for the next, what have we got here, about 45, 50 odd minutes. Always your questions are welcome, please. I'd love to make this a little more interactive than normal, so please do chime up and ask those questions. Michael will do his best to interrupt me. I know I speak fast, but hey, got a lot to share. I want to talk about what Microsoft 365, or I keep saying that, Microsoft Search is. And we'll want to look at the benefits of using it and considering it instead of just the old classic SharePoint search component. I want to look at how we can be using Microsoft Search now, how we can shift the mindset, because it's effectively on for all of you to shift that mindset so that you can use it, but then more realistically or more ideally that you can leverage it strongly. And then to wrap up, which is the big piece, which is, okay, how do you make this search engine work for your organization? It's already on, it's already working, but there's so much more all of you could be doing to be able to make it that much better. And there might be some initial setup. It may take you some hours. It might take you some days and a week or so of really trying to think through, not 40 hours kind of thing, but just, working with some people, get some ideas, get some acronyms together, locations together, get some Q&A together, get some of the big things people are searching for, look at your search logs and get the pieces together. And then after that, what we find successful in the SharePoint days, and I think is still very valuable here in the Microsoft Search days, is that you're spending a couple hours every couple weeks or every month or something. You're looking at the most recent searches. You're looking at things that you haven't optimized for, and you're providing the immediate results for those. So there's a little bit of a setup, and then after that, there will be ongoing maintenance, but it should not be overwhelming. If you just put it on the calendar, make it happen, or assign that to someone, it's really going to make things so much better. All right, so what is Microsoft Search though? So from the way that sort of, to me, Microsoft looks at this is they look at Microsoft Search as this intelligent search engine designed for the modern digital workspace, designed for what it is that we're doing today. This is supposed to deliver the relevant results, not just keyword results that make sense, but relevant results for each user who's searching it for your organization. Ideally, and this is what they're getting better at doing, across the same experience across the Microsoft 365 suite, both online and in your offline clients as well, when they're able to connect to the internet, of course. The idea is that surfacing relevant content, so if you're searching it, content that's more relevant to you should be pushed to the top across your entire Microsoft 365 ecosystem. Ideally, it's supposed to be going through everything. Your SharePoint sites, your email, what's happening over in Teams, what's happening over in OneDrive Stream, what's happening anywhere and everywhere, the people that you're searching for, etc. Not fully there yet, in my opinion. There's still sort of like some gaps in some of the things, but that's definitely supposed to be the point. In SharePoint Search, we saw that SharePoint Search was just about getting you basically the results. Here's the sites, or here's the articles, or the news, or the files that you were searching for. Microsoft Search is looking to get you the results, but more importantly, it's looking to get you the answers that you're looking for. What is the Sacramento office address? That kind of search in old SharePoint wouldn't most likely produce an answer for you per se. You can kind of configure it a little bit, but it wouldn't necessarily be like a solid answer. Whereas here, Microsoft Search would look to provide you the answer of what is the address of our Sacramento office, rather than just results. It's also supposed to help to provide those insights wherever you're working on within the digital workspace, where you can have this consistent, great experience across really all these apps and services, ideally on these any devices as well. It's search, but it's supposed to be search. It's ideally the search across your digital workspace that is consistent, providing the answers that you're looking for, because you're searching for answers. Now for Microsoft, so I kind of expanding upon what they're looking at, and what I like about this screen is it shows the idea of where search is supposed to be unified across Microsoft 365. Now when we show things like Bing or Edge, in particular Bing, you need to be logged in to your 365 account for Bing to be able to realize that. So when you say like, wait, how can Bing know what's happening to me? It's because, and it will only happen if you in fact log in. But Microsoft Search is Microsoft's solution for the general requirements that I've specified. And it's looking to change the way we think about search, providing you those answers. It's beyond what SharePoint could ever do. But what we're looking to do is it's a modern search experience in SharePoint as well. That Bing for Business component, what I talked about, which is the searching within Bing when you're logged in, etc. And it's supposed to even be connected directly into Windows, so that Windows is able to search through your Microsoft Search while you're logged in as well. So it's just unified search. I'm going to say that it's not fully there yet. I think that there's still some minor gaps and whatnot, but you've got to start somewhere, and it's a very ambitious play, and I'm excited to see it. And really, I don't see a good true competitor at this specific level. So by default, the way this would work is that this is already turned on for you within the Microsoft 365 apps that you're already using. It's basically, this is the search that appears in the header bar at the top of M365 across everything. Now, Outlook is a little different, Teams is still a little different, and SharePoint can be a little different, which this is one of my problems. It provides a disjointed user experience, which I do want to show you in the next demo, because it's the first demo, which is the next, because it can be confusing when you're first using it, but then once you understand it, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of see why it works that way, and there are some ways to kind of get around it, but it's still, you know. So the way this happened, kind of, I do
want to catch you real quick, Eric. Sorry, a question came in that's very on topic to what you're saying. Do you happen to know if this is available in GCC?
I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, but the problem is I don't know GCC well enough. So I know that if you Google Microsoft Search GCC, you'll get some information on that. I saw it somewhere recently, and I'm pretty sure that parts of it is, but you know, every time I say something like that, I'm always wrong. So no, you'd have to Google it, just because our clients don't work in GCC generally, so I'm not, I don't keep up to date on that kind of stuff.
Thanks, Eric. Sorry,
outstanding question that I really am happy that was asked, and we would, it'd be nice. Well, we'll see if we can get you an answer here before this is out too. Okay, so the search is using effectively Graph. It's crawling all of your data, and an extension of Microsoft Search, which I haven't even talked about, is the ability to have connectors that's able to use Graph search connectors to basically crawl and index external resources. That's interesting, and that is not a simple set it and forget it thing. So what I mean by that is Microsoft Search is looking to help you surface information from Workday, from Salesforce, from ServiceNow, from Azure, from Azure SQL, from external sources. Just because it can do it does not mean it's free or cheap. There are partners that have been working on these connectors that are in preview right now, so that you can do some of this. And basically all of them are going to cost you more money. It just will. Anywhere from a little to a lot. So I'm not really going to go into the cost of that, because it's not something that you know, those services are provided by those third parties. And you could actually create them yourself, but that's not an easy, trivial task either. So creating a Graph connector to be able to Graph Search connector to be able to crawl your own content and to get it into Microsoft Index, so it's in fact serviceable via that connector, is via what's called a vertical. We'll see that. Don't worry, I'm going to show you this. It's going to be interesting. So it is super cool. Once this data is all crawled by Microsoft, so all the Office 365, Microsoft 365 data, Search is then utilizing AI, it's using that artificial intelligence to be able to bring you the relevant results. Keep using the word relevant, because it's not just supposed to be, oh, here's what we found that included the word P&P or something. It's what's supposed to be more relevant to you. Microsoft hasn't been overly, they're not being very detailed on exactly how that magic works, but you can think about things such as, what is the content that is being created or worked on by people you're interacting with the most? so that kind of content might be more relevant to what you're looking for, or based upon your search what it is that you're looking for. Now, of course, results are always based on the permission of the user who is actually running the search. So you can feel pretty safe and secure that if you've got security set up properly within your organization, and people in fact put things in the right spot. I mean, you know, if your CEO decides to put some top secret document, financial document on some open team within Microsoft Teams or within SharePoint or something, search can only do so much there. But if you set up SharePoint, Teams, Stream, you set up things properly, you share them properly, you share documents, files, etc. properly, Microsoft Search is absolutely going to respect that and make sure that you're safe and secure, that people are only going to see what it is that they're supposed to see. With some also, all this with some really cool type ahead too, that's just amazing. So I think with that, like, let's get into this. I mean, I want to see what this looks like, right? So let's look at search across Microsoft 365, in particular, things I want to look at. What does search look like in SharePoint, in OneDrive, and Outlook, and Bing, and some other options like that. So let's go ahead and we're going to load up a test tenant that I have here. So here's that test tenant. Let me get up some extra little things for me here. Okay, so first of all, like I've gone to portal.office. Whoops. Portal, I had it, portal.office.com, there we go. And so I'm logged into Office, and so, you know, I get my normal Office experience. This might be a lot of place for people to search. We can see as soon as I click on the search at the top, it's already trying to help me out here. So this is the power of search. Search is saying intelligently, these are things that this particular user, Hannah Waterman, has been working with. And you can see sites, people, files, apps. But let's just say, you know, I want to search for PNP. That's something I've got. So I can go ahead and, you know, search on PNP, and I get some results right there, then and there. This kind of looks like SharePoint results for those of you used to the SharePoint world, but it's not. I get all these other things as well. I want to sort of talk about these top tabs. These are called verticals. The all files, sites, people, news, that is all by default. The Power BI is something that we added in. Something else that you're seeing here, which we're going to look at, is this bookmark here. It's something that you can do. It's one of the many things you can do to help promote content based on what people might be searching for. But you can see that here over in Office. Now let's go over to SharePoint. So the first thing I did here was I'm at the SharePoint homepage. So same thing, I go ahead and I click on search, and what happens? I get sort of a very similar drop down, and if I search on PNP and I hit return, we can see what happens here. Now I get basically the same results. Okay, that makes sense. I'm at the SharePoint homepage, which now I think about it, they actually have been renaming that because of all the new SharePoint app stuff they're building, but it's still the SharePoint homepage. I get something, but let's go ahead and let's go back. Let's go ahead and not go to the SharePoint homepage. Let's go to the root of our intranet. So let's just say this is where our intranet lives. We call it Spotlight here in this particular demo. All right, so let's go ahead and click on search. Well, that's interesting. I'm getting a different kind of information, and it says search across sites. Okay, so let's do that same search, PNP. Let's see what happens. Interesting results. So what's happening here is that when I'm in a SharePoint site, SharePoint is using that same exact search bar across the top, but it's basically saying, wait, no, let's do a SharePoint site search. So here it's actually only looking at the site and if it's a hub, it'd be searching that as well, but it's searching a smaller subset. So this is something that can be kind of confusing potentially for some of your users, where when you're in a SharePoint site, search is going to be searching that SharePoint site and not necessarily a whole tenant. And there's a value to this, and that being it is a unified search experience. When you want to search for something, you go to the search bar at the top. To me, that makes sense. And we're going to see this in Outlook. When you use the search bar, it's going to search Outlook. I don't want search to search everything because it can get a little overwhelming. So I don't think it's necessarily bad to have this, but it is definitely something that you would want your users to think about when you're searching. It depends on kind of where you are. You might get some slightly different results around what you might be thinking. So if you're searching more than M65, you might want to go up one level or go somewhere else. Okay, so let's go to OneDrive. Let's go to OneDrive. Let's see that experience. So I'm in my OneDrive now, same search bar right at the top, same exact search bar that we've seen. Okay, well, this is interesting. Let's just quickly search on PNP. And we can see, well, I only got files within OneDrive. It kind of makes sense. I'm in OneDrive. I kind of want to search my OneDrive. I'm not necessarily trying to search everything. But there is a drop down now that it was not added before that allows me to start looking for some more information. So let's go to whole organization. And there you go. Okay, so OneDrive does have the ability through a drop down to be able to broaden my search away from just OneDrive. But by default, the search is going to surface that one specific thing that it's looking for. Interesting. Things worth knowing, things worth thinking about. All right, let's move on. Let's look at something like Outlook. So Outlook, this is all demo material, so anything you see here, ignore it, just demo stuff coming in. All right, so let's go ahead and let's kind of do that same thing here. Let's go ahead and search for PNP. And what we'd find now is, of course, I'm getting my Outlook emails. I'm not searching everything else. And the drop down here is more based around Outlook. So Outlook itself, the search there, it's not the Microsoft search that you might have gotten elsewhere. It looks the same, it's in the same spot and all of that, but it's looking to search Outlook messages, which again, it makes sense. I'm a little frustrated just because I feel as it is sort of disjointed, but yeah, we kind of all know how Microsoft works. Microsoft is a very large organization, and each team that owns these different applications kind of have some of their own things that their users are telling them they need. So I'm looking forward to these continuing to combine together even more. But I can tell you, if Outlook didn't have this search experience, I'd be very frustrated. I need search to work. I need to be able to search email, and I need a lot of ability to refine it. Thus, this is how Outlook sort of this is how they did it, while still providing the same general search piece, which is search is always at the top. So I like where they're going. I'm looking forward to seeing things get extended a little more, but that's what it is. So there we go. All right, last one that I want to show you because I think this is super cool. Let's go ahead and go to Bing. So I go to Bing. And I am logged in, so I can go and say, okay, I'm at Bing, and I'm going to search for PNP. Check that out at the top. Look at what's happening here. At the top, it was like, oh, wait a second. I was logged in. Bing for Business, effectively. Bing is able to say, oh, wait, okay, you're Bing, but there's some information for you from your organization that you may be interested in. Now, what's really, to me, super important that they've added here are things like that it actually does add my profile. It does talk about, who can see work results, because if I didn't pay attention, I wasn't really thinking about what was happening. This could get really scary because I just happened to be searching at Bing, and I was searching for something, and all of a sudden work stuff came up. Oh my gosh, did someone open up the doors, and now Bing is able to crawl our corporate data? So I am glad how they're doing it. I think that it did work some people, but I think that there's just some really cool features that Bing is able to offer. Here I clicked on work at Bing, and now I'm surfacing my content via Bing. Super cool. I admit I'm a big Google fan when it comes to search. Everything else that they do, I can't stand because they're in the business to sell my data. Microsoft is not. That was my opinion. No one else's opinion, but I do believe it. But when it comes to searching corporate data, I find that Bing offers something that no one else can for lots of good reasons. I would never trust Google with this kind of information. Again, personal opinion. Really cool, I think, what you can do with Bing. So we scratched the surface of what search can do. But hopefully that gives you this kind of quick overview. This idea being that search, Microsoft Search, is the experience that you see at the top bar, basically across your entire M365 organization. And this was rolled out really to everybody. Again, I'm sorry on the GCC cloud, I don't have the specifics there, but it's pretty easy to check. I'm sure you could, if you just Google Microsoft Search GCC, you'll get a whole bunch of documentation on it. You start to get this intelligence that search has to offer you, where it's this unified search bar across your M365 digital workspace. Just be aware and be sure to help train your team that results may vary or may not, they may be specific to the application you're in at that given moment, because that's kind of makes sense as things move forward. That all being said as well, the team's search experience is sort of like Outlook. It's very specific to Teams right now. And I believe that search experience needs to improve as well. I believe that Microsoft's probably aware of that, and they're probably working on some things. So the promise has not been fully delivered yet. I don't know if it ever will be, in the sense that search is extremely important to Microsoft. They have a very large team involved in it. You're seeing pieces of search moving into things like Project Cortex and stuff. Well, now going to be Viva Topics. So I expect continued massive investment at enterprise scale to help deliver some really strong search experiences for your organizations, including organizations with hundreds of thousands of employees, where you've got a lot of content that's being driven by a lot of people, and a lot of different people need to get fast results. So definitely looking forward to seeing where Teams goes, and I think you're going to get some really good rewards if you start getting involved with it now. All right. So what is it that search can find? So it can find a whole bunch of stuff. It can find sites and answers to specific problems or specific questions. It's also able to provide locations, so things like Sacramento office, or where's my Sacramento office. We'll show you that because it's not going to know that by default. Definitely can find files across your organization, help you find your OneDrive files, help find data that's over in SharePoint or in Teams driven by SharePoint, etc. Definitely can help find people. This is sort of the old people search in SharePoint, but this is a broader overview of people with a more rich people card. Can help you find people where they are and information around them. Of course, it can help you find groups. So Office 365 groups by name or members. You can then get in and drive in and dig into the content that's available. Even can help you find those topics within Teams and chats. I find more from the applications themselves, but it can help you find lots of really good information across Microsoft 365. So the overall benefits, like why I want to see you start to use this now, if you're not, basically you are. So what I really want to see you do is configure it to be even more powerful and to be more relevant to you. First of all, I mean, it's ready to use, and it's robust. It's enterprise scale. It's there. It's available. It's fast. It's effectively crawling your content already. It has a reasonable implementation. So reasonable. I would love to use the words like easy. It's not hard. It's not even overly unintuitive. It's just it's reasonable. It's not just a one click and it's done and it's going to crawl and understand all the data. It does take some configurations, some forethought, some thinking. And no worries, we're going to spend the next demo right after this. We're going to look at that, and really we're going to wrap it up after that. So I'm hoping we have plenty of time here to sort of dig into some other thoughts. What I love about Microsoft Search is that it's looking to provide more relevant results that is deeply integrated to Microsoft 365. And lastly there, I truly believe that Microsoft Search is going to be evergreen. It is evergreen. What I mean by evergreen is it's not static. What we found with the old SharePoint days was that SharePoint Search, it basically got updated every 3 years with a new version of SharePoint. SharePoint Online came out, and we saw some improvements to search, but it wasn't nearly at the pace and level that we saw at the M65 or Microsoft Search level. I believe strongly that Microsoft is investing. I've already said this. They're investing heavily in this, and it is not going to stop at what you see today. It will continue to. They will continue to add some really smart people to build some really smart AI that can really help drive relevant answers to your users, so that as they're searching for that content, they're searching for that information, it shows up much more quickly without nearly the level of searching that you might have needed to have done. Search this and find it, and now I'm going to go to Explorer, and now I'm going to send an email off and hope someone can help me, and all that not fun shenanigans stuff. Okay, so
all right, hey,
yeah, good.
I just want to quickly jump in. Sorry, I'm posting a couple of things in the chat here, guys. A couple of links for you guys to check out on Microsoft Search and where it is and isn't available. Those are in chat for you. And then also, Eric, I got a question for you.
Yep.
Can the tenant admin turn off search features? I get suspicious when I see a feature clearly in my own tenant, but then when I get to a client location, these things are missing. The worst I've seen is turning off Teams and turning off the follow feature. Then lots of things don't behave as expected because their start point is off. So the main question was, can tenant admin turn off search features?
Well, looking at the search, kinda. I don't think nearly to what you're looking for. You could not configure a lot of the things. you can purposely not configure them, but the Microsoft doesn't really, they want you to use it. So let's look at that though. It'll be easier to describe to you as we go through the administrative panel so that we can think through what is and is not possible. But I mean, I'm arguing no. You want, well, I'm going to reinterpret the question. I want to be able to have granular control of what search is and is not doing and where it is and is not working. No, we don't have nearly that level of control. What is frustrating for me is when I'm going to client locations and things haven't yet rolled out to them. That's frustrating. So there's nothing I can do to help you get around that. That's Microsoft's way of releasing things, and they release things at different rings and different speeds, and that could get extremely frustrating. But let's dive into the admin component, which answers the beginning of your question, or will help us look at the answers, look at the options that we have available in configuring search. The primary things I do want to talk about kind of before the general settings is something that Microsoft calls answers. So that's where you're helping provide answers to specific types of questions. The answers have things such as acronyms like PNP or MFA or things like that. Bookmarks, the ability to create specific results to links so that people are able to, you're able to send them basically what we used to call maybe like promoted results or something. Q&A, so question and answers. So people ask a question, you might have an answer. I've actually had problems with QAs in my demo tenant, so I'm going to show you the premise behind them, but I can tell you in the demo tenant I'm using, I actually haven't gotten them to work, and I can't tell you why. Floor plans, that's another one where I don't have floor plans to show you, but I will show you the configuration and effectively what they talk about and the premise behind what floor plans would allow you to do. And then locations as well, like when I talk about Sacramento address, that you could tell it locations of buildings that people can then use to search to get more information on it. I do want to spend some time on connectors, verticals, and result types. Now, this is a much higher level session than going into deep dive, so we're not going to go into code or anything like that. We're just going to show you where to learn more if these are things that you're interested in including in your tenant. So to find all of this, let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to go into the admin side. So someone is going to have to be a tenant administrator to help kind of get this started for you. But what you're going to find over on the left-hand side under, and I just lost it, was, settings, is under search and intelligence. So search and intelligence is effectively your search configuration. Now, if you want to be able to see this and you're not a tenant admin, what's going to happen is someone's going to have to go into the user side. They're going to have to go into the user profile. They can then go into a specific user. So let's go ahead and take a bill here, and we want to go ahead and look at the roles that they have. Here, we can actually just go to manage roles. That's taking longer than I want. There you go. So at manage roles, and if we show by category, we will find that there are two search-related categories. There's the search admins and search editors. In admin, search admin can effectively configure search overall. Search editors can help create effectively the answers, which is still very powerful. I see an organization have maybe a couple of search administrators and many more search editors, because search editors can help make search better, especially if you're large organizations. Maybe you want to have a search editor per business unit, per department, per larger team or something like that, because then they can help continue to refine search and make it better. Of course, these people should go through some training, they should understand what you're doing, and they should be held accountable to what they do, but it's gonna really help make your search experience that much better. So let's go ahead and go to the search and intelligence. One of the things that you really want to be able to see is the intelligence of what actually is happening within search. So this first chart that you're seeing, you're able to get some query volume and top queries and stuff. This is a dev tenant, so there's just not enough happening for search to really start to produce some information. But what's really helpful here is things like top queries and the no result queries. Top queries is helping you figure out what people are searching for. And what people are searching for, those top 100, 300, 500 searches over a year, you want answers to those. Those things should have bookmarks. You should have effectively what we used to call promoted results. Things that are going to tell people what the answer to that kind of question is, because obviously they're common questions, and that helps you promote more important information to the top of the search results. So let's go into the answers. So what's super cool here about answers is that you've got these acronyms, bookmarks, floor plans, locations, and questions and answers. And I want to go through all of these so we can see them. Our acronyms, I've set up a couple here. So we have an acronym such as something like MFA. All right, so we can have things like that stands for, we can provide descriptions, we can even source it to something. You can add acronyms, you can exclude them, you can import them, export them. So where I want to get at import and export is effectively create a couple, export it. You're going to get an Excel, I think that's a CSV that you get. You can open that up in Excel and then use that format to help you import the proper format. That way you know the columns that you need and you can more quickly get this data up into, get the acronyms up into your system. All right, so I want to show you sort of these acronyms in practice here. So let's go ahead and let's take AAD. Let's go back to, we will go to, let's just go to, we'll go to Office, office.com. So I could say something like, what is AAD? So the key to an acronym is that you have to add this what is in front of it. So like, what is AAD? And what happens is Microsoft Search is able to see this. They're able to understand now what I'm looking for is this thing. It's basically able to go back and say, there is a acronym for AAD. Therefore, it provides me the answer. So stands for with the description. Let's go back. Is that the results we received? There you go. There's my stands for, and there's my description as well. And it even says, who is it that published it? All organizations have acronyms. We all do. Put them in here. Help people know what they are. And then a part of your training is you're going to, this is simple things of teaching people. If you don't know what it is, just what is, and see what you come up with. You can then use search results to help, or the search reports to help figure out, are people asking for something that we haven't defined yet well enough? Let's go ahead and let's make that easier for people to get the answers that I'm looking for. Let's look for bookmarks. Okay, so bookmarks, similar idea. Now, a lot of these that you see, they're added actually by default. So these were created by Microsoft when we set up this dev tenant. But we added this P&P, so let's go ahead and we'll look at this P&P. So I'm going to patterns and practice. So I can get a preview of what my bookmark looks like. I'm able to provide a URL, a description, my keywords. These are the things that people would search for where I want this bookmark to show up. So this is key. Just because you create your title and description doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work as well as you think. Make sure you add proper keywords that people might be searching for these bookmarks. These are, to me, what we used to call in the SharePoint world, promoted results. So if you know people are searching for things and you want to push things to the top, create a bookmark for them, create the URL or URLs that you would want them to be able to, that you'd want to be redirecting them to, provide those keywords, and you can even provide some more information if you really want to target specific types of people or whatnot. So let's go ahead and let's look at that. So I have this bookmark title, P&P patterns and practices. So if I type in P&P, because that was one of the keywords, you'll see that my bookmark shows up at the top. My title, my URL, my description, as well as who created it. Super powerful. Every organization I've ever worked with has acronyms. They have bookmarks. Like they might not have configured them, but they have them. Use them. Create them, and you'll have you'll create a lot more. You create a much better experience for your users. Now, the same thing as acronyms, you can export and import these. So add a couple, make sure that a couple are there, remove the ones that you might not want. Export, create all of the major bookmarks you may have, the main things people are searching for. What's the cafeteria menu when we can get them back into the office? Where's the HR portal? All kinds of things that people may be asking for. Help them figure that out. What are my employee benefits? There's so many things that you can do that you can provide here. And this is when I said your setup may take you, hours, weeks, days, whatever. It's not that it's going to take a lot of time to do this per se to enter the data. What's going to take a long time to me, where you should invest the time properly, is getting this information for your organization, the top 300-500 things. Maybe just go look at your search logs. I'm sure you'll find some interesting things. Go knock off the top 100. Well, the top 5, the top 10, the top 50, the top 100. Slowly expand your reach and answer these questions with acronyms and bookmarks as necessary. All right, floor plans. So this is something I don't have in my dev tenant. This is one of the ones where basically learn about it. The best way to learn about it is you click on floor plans. There's some really good links here. about adding your buildings, how you can add these AutoCAD file formats of it. But if you click on the learn how to create floor plans, you're going to get kind of this cool, some cool how-tos on how to go about setting this whole thing up and making this work for you. So there, oh, again, even on adding locations, etc. There's some really good documentation here from for Microsoft Search that is going over a lot of what I'm talking about, and I'm not providing the link right here. I have it in resources in a little bit. Basically, it's because when you're configuring search, when you're going into those different areas, there's almost always links that are going to drive you back to this over the spot you're looking at here under docs.microsoft.com. So within this, you can start to learn about what locations are and how people are able to start using these locations to determine and to utilize where they are and to find out more about, like, different locations. And locations can be such, oh, it's floor plans, excuse me. Floor plans can also provide you questions around such as where is room L1234? And search can use the indexing of the data that you've provided it, and you can actually get results directly out of Microsoft Search to help people find conference rooms and buildings and floors and really cool things such as that. Locations. So locations is around the idea of the addresses you might have. So here you can see I set up two. There's the Sacramento, there's the Seattle one. You can see kind of the same idea here. There's keywords that you can use so that people can find these locations so that you're able to help search know that you're looking for locations. You can easily add locations, you can edit them, and you can see again, import and export. So add a couple of these to the interface if you don't have any, which you probably don't. Export them if you want, get that CSV that you can then import them back in so that you can properly and more quickly add the office locations you have. Of course, you can just do it through the interface if you want, but that's super cool. I can actually show this though. So Leon, let's look. Let's go back to search and let's type in Sacramento. Sacramento office. And you can see it brought up my Sacramento office. Now, it's not my Sacramento office, it's just an address, but 55 Broadway goes back to 55 Broadway. That's an answer. I mean, I think that this is getting super cool, where I'm able to make my digital workspace actually know who I am. And it makes sense that Microsoft Search wouldn't just necessarily know what my offices are. So you have to make it make sense. You need to help Microsoft Search understand what it is that you are, in fact, attempting to do. Okay, the last one is Q&A. Now, Q&A is supposed to be really simple. Basically, the idea is that I can have a, whoops, that was ad. I want to look at what I already have. So I can get a card of what something should look like. So what is a content type? So I have a title, URL, my answer, and my keywords. And this is pretty simple. It is published. But when I actually go and search for content type, at least when I tried last night when I was verifying everything, oh my gosh, it just showed up. Ha! Okay, this took 3-4 days. So this bookmark was added a little while ago. It wasn't working last night. So it's supposed to be instant. I don't fully know what I did right or did wrong. So let me just tell you, because I'm a little excited, like, well, what happened? The idea is you can create these questions and answers, things that are very similar to bookmarks, but are a little more direct, a little more like, you got a question, I'm going to be able to provide you an answer. So I was able to create these titles with a description. When I edited it, I was able to see what that card would look like. It's not the same as a bookmark, but it's similar to a bookmark. You can have things, so you can even have the dates that it's available. So maybe you've got a town hall happening. You could create a Q&A of like, when's the town hall? When's the next town hall? And you want to have a question and answer set up for, this is a virtual town hall. Here's the Teams link to be able to join into it. Really cool things you can do here, and you make it available only to certain times because it might be very time sensitive. So that works. Then when people can search for something, so in this case I searched for content type, you can see that I got my Q&A show up. My question was available asked because of the keyword setting, and I got my answer in a nice promoted card. So super excited that worked because it wasn't working last night. Best I can tell you is it just took time to crawl and index that. It's supposed to be instant. If you read the documentation on that, it actually says this is really fast. It's supposed to be just an instant index, but for me, It seemed to take a while. You can see it was published. I already had it published. So lots of things you can do with answers through acronyms, bookmarks, floor plans, locations, Q&A. The big ones I think you're going to use more often are your acronyms and bookmarks. Your bookmarks, I see organizations potentially having thousands of those. Acronyms, depends on your organization. If you're Microsoft, you'd have thousands. A lot of us have fewer than 1,000, but hey, that's good. The floor plans and locations, once you get that set up, once you do, if you set it up, which I suggest you do, if you have offices, etc., I don't think you'll change that much. That's not bad, but that allows people to more quickly find information about offices. And then, as I said, back on the Q&A, I can see you adding lots of questions and answers. In interest in time, I've got to kind of keep burning through this. Search also has the ability to connect to external resources so that they can be indexed and surfaced directly within Microsoft. Super powerful. Currently, there's only a small set of available external connectors, and these are the ones that are created. These are most likely going to cost you more money. I'm going to leave it at that because everyone's different. I'm just going to leave it at that. If you want to learn about more connectors, was there a question?
There is. So go ahead and finish your thought, and then we'll jump in with the question.
On the connectors, so on the overview, when you clicked on that, there's some preview release, the connections gallery, excuse me. Connectors gallery, you can see there's a whole bunch of available connectors. So look here to see if they've already been created. You can then go talk to these companies. There's really 3 companies, I think, that have done this: BA Insight, Accenture, and Radian. You can create your own, but these are the premier ones that are in preview that Microsoft created, that Microsoft has worked with to get created. So some really cool things you can do with connectors. Here's the catch. Once you set up a connector, which is probably going to cost you more money, you want to change things. You want to be able to use those connectors. And I can't actually show you result types and verticals without a connector, and I'm not going to set up a connector because I don't want to in this environment. But I do want to talk about what these are. Verticals. Verticals are those tabs that you have available to you. By default, you have the all files, sites, people, news. Wouldn't it be really cool if I could create a connector to SharePoint to create my own unique set of SharePoint, my own predefined SharePoint results? Can't be done. Big takeaway. As of right now, you cannot have an out-of-the-box connector to SharePoint. They do that for you. Those third-party vendors have created some SharePoint connectors that cost money. So if you want to create your own vertical that is specific to a specific way using SharePoint, can't be done without doing something yourself. Verticals, though, are effectively those tabs that tie into a connector. Once you build verticals, then you can define result sets, result types. A result type in the Microsoft search world is the ability to define the layout and look of a result based on the result type, which is tied back to the verticals. So if you wanted search to look pretty in a different way through Microsoft Search, you have to do it through result types connected to your own connector that is then surfaced by your own result, vertical. So there's some huge questions here, and the basic answer is you probably can't do what you're thinking of doing. Not yet. I really hope that's going to change. You could create, I believe, your own SharePoint connector and do the work yourself, and then you create your own vertical and stuff, but you might find that doing it yourself and maintaining it yourself, it's going to be cheaper to use one of those other third-party partners that could do it for you. I've only got 7 minutes left. So what was your question while I'm switching back?
Oh, sure. Can a search editor make these changes as well, or only the admin?
Search editors can go into, basically they can change the answers. That's what they're editing, is the answers that are here. I don't know if editors can add them. I'm pretty sure they can. So an editor that has the ability to add, yeah, oh no, it does. You can, the CRUD operations on answers, but they're not supposed to have ability to work with connectors, the customizations or result types. Oh, and then there's the configurations, which lots of configurations here, right? So here's search. Anywhere, did anyone see any ability to turn things off? No. Just saying. So if you don't want something in Bing, you can turn that off. But really, you're not going to have the granular control you're looking for. Microsoft really doesn't have interest in you doing that. They want you to use this. So Yeah.
Another quick question for you, Eric. To what extent can multiple connectors be put into the same vertical?
No, one connector per vertical.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, continue on.
Okay, so in interest in time, because we're going to end up. So, I mean, yes, I blew through admin, but I'm trying to give you kind of that 101 level, 100 level. I showed you what's there. Those are your search settings and your search configurations. You can do a lot just through their interface. If you want to get into some more deep content, you want to create those connectors, you want verticals and connectors, that is not a light lift. I'm gonna kind of leave it at that. So you can do it. There's definitely ways to do it. It's reasonably well documented because you're using Graph to do it, but it is not overly. It's not a trivial thing. Oh, I want to surface my my ServiceNow data. Well, there it is, the ServiceNow connector. But let's say Workday. You might want to look to see how the third-party vendors have already helped you, and then talk to them on price. If you do it yourself, you're going to have to build the whole connector to do the whole thing, to talk to the API, to have the account, to have access to crawl the data, to get the data out of Workday, get it into Graph, etc. So, okay, so tricks that I want you to teach your users if you're going to be teaching other people. If you're just here learning about search yourself, great. You could be more specific when searching. So Microsoft Search is looking at context, not just your keywords. Back in the SharePoint days, if you added fluff words in, didn't work so well. Microsoft Search is smarter than that. So be more specific in what it is you're looking for, like what is PNP. SharePoint knows how, or Microsoft Search knows how to deal with that. There are some other great operators I haven't even talked about that your end users can use, and, or not. So, and, I want both of these words, or I want you, if a search that can provide either of these words or not. I don't want searches that includes these words. Those verticals could definitely help you refine search. The out-of-the-box ones are still powerful. I mean, there still was the ability just to look at files or people, etc. So they can help. And really look at that search for Bing. I would suggest you look at it, using it, and work with your end users because there's some cool power there. Some tips on the administrative side is the big one. Maintain and monitor that search. You're going to get a lot more powerful if you have search editors who are bi-weekly, bi-monthly, monthly, quarterly, refining it. You can still tag content in SharePoint. You can create new columns. You can use that for tagging. And Microsoft Search does pick it up. It's actually really good. Assign search editors. It's going to be much better if you can get 1, 5, 10, 15, whatever. Trust them, of course, but kind of have to normally. There is a time lag, though, upon indexing. It's not ever going to be instant. Okay, so I have some search resources. Now, what's really cool is Michael's going to help you get all of these resources that you have here right now. So I think, Michael, right, you're going to post this in the chat window, are you not? We have a PDF of those resources.
Yes, there is a handout uploading now. It should be available for you guys shortly to grab. Yeah, so it should be available in the handouts tab. You can grab that. It'll give you all those fun resources to look more into this stuff, play around, search around, joke intended, for all this stuff. Yeah, feel free to grab that.
And that's all a free non-form driven download, right? Do they have to fill out their name, or I don't remember.
No, I think that one's they can just have.
As much as I want to interact with you all, sometimes, hey, we just want you to have the content. We just want you to use it because you can always come back to us and ask us questions. You all know we're here. We're happy to talk to you and help you leverage this technology if you're looking for some help as well. So I know we're also coming back to a feedback giveaway. So yes, we do want to know who you are, please. Michael, tell me some more on this.
Okay, so this is the one, guys. We were doing this a couple times last year, and we're bringing it back this year, guys, because, we love you guys, and we want you to know how much you mean to us. So we're doing a little giveaway, guys. I have in the chat put a link to a webinar, to this webinar survey. Fill that out. Let us know what you think, and we're going to be picking the winner of a $50 Amazon gift card at next month's webinar. Okay. So that'll be happening there. So please grab that link and fill up that survey if you want to enter. And we'll again, like I said, we'll be picking at our session next month.
And you do not need to be present next month to win, correct?
Oh yes, thank you. You do not need to be present to win, but of course, we'd love to see you there. If you win and you're present, I'll sing to you. Yeah. That's my promise.
What we're trying to get here, we just want to know how we're doing. So that's why we have these surveys. We're trying to get feedback. We're trying to make these all more relevant to you. That's what the value of these are. So please help us there. And then that survey's in the chat. So Michael, can you tell us about next month?
Oh man, guys, if you've been paying attention to anything going on in the Microsoft world,
Yeah.
you may have heard of a little thing called Microsoft Viva, and it's a big one. It's a big one. It's a big thing. It's gonna do some things and make some big changes to everything, and that's what we're gonna talk about next month. What does Microsoft Viva mean for my SharePoint intranet? There is so much to cover in that simple question. We just can't wait to share with you guys. That'll be next month, March 25th, at our usual 11 a.m. slot on the last Thursday of the month. And with that, guys, we're at time, so I want to quickly say thank you so much, Eric. It's a great session, great job. Thank you for sharing this information out. This is something we've been really high on, guys, and been having a lot of good conversations with clients, with partners, with everybody. So we really wanted to help get that information out of there. And then, I hope you can join us next month for what does Microsoft Viva mean for my SharePoint intranet. Information about that will be posted shortly, and I'll make sure all you guys see that. But with that, Eric, again, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Have a great weekend as March is about to be here around the corner, and we'll see you all down the road.
Hey,
take it easy, everybody.
I'm gonna quickly, let's see if anyone wants to stick around. I got some questions here I'm gonna try to answer for you all. Is that cool, Michael?
All right, yeah, that's fine. If
Thanks.
anybody has some time to
leave, let's get a couple of these questions if we can. Okay, so
absolutely.
There's the PMP command to move search queries from on-prem to SharePoint Online. That, as far as I know, does not exist. So I don't know of an API to actually move configuration of SharePoint search that I'm aware of. So by hand is the way that I've always seen it. I was teasing you with the lead up to customization for a SharePoint vertical. Yeah, sorry that it doesn't exist. So another way to ask is how many times where controls for configuring search. What are the associated permissions or groups for configuring search? Sydney, I'll have to think about that more, and we'll get back to you all. So, cool. Yeah, again, thank you all for joining us, and for those of you who stayed a little longer to get the questions, always love them. We'll, of course, have that post right up shortly, and we'll answer the questions there as well. So, I want to say thank you as well.
Of course, yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you, and once again, guys, have a great rest of your week. Have a great Thursday. Thanks for searching for stuff with us today. And again, we'll see you all down the road. Take it easy, everybody.